my way because today is an episode of the Juggalo Show worth going out of your way for because it's a very special night and we have incredible topics to discuss, rude boy.
And not to mention, man, coming out of his cave where he hides out all the time, but he's the master of putting it down for Psychopathic Records. The one and only Jay Webb is in the house, so you know it must be a special night.
Thanks, rude boy, and you're darn right. It's a very special night. We have lots to talk about.
My man, Jump Steady.
Yes.
The march is a mere 18 days away.
And as I said, the gathering of the Juggalos in 2016, we are going to rain on you, Washington. That's all I got to say. With Fago, of course.
Fago and positive vibrations.
That's right.
And the orphans as well.
Right. That's right. You know what I'm talking about.
Of course I do,
You know
man.
exactly what I'm talking about.
Of course I do. Now, for those who are listening in for the first time, and I do have some first-time listeners, I'd like to invite, or I'd like to thank my friends from the Marcus Garvey movement, the new Black Panther movement. I'd like to also thank the Detroiters helping each other, community activists who are listening in, who are also going to be driving down and joining us at the march. For the first time they're listening in, so we're going to kind of give them a little history on why we're going and what we're doing in Washington, D.C. Much love and shout out to Minister Malik Shabazz, who's listening right now.
Oh, snap.
That's right.
Okay, right. That's dope. All right, so yes, everybody is gearing up nationwide right now, getting ready for the most historic Juggalo event of all time, the Juggalo March on Washington. And we've talked about it for the entire past year.
Yes.
The importance of the march, why we're marching. And we have, when it was first announced that the Juggalos were put into the gang database, the FBI's gang database, along with the most ruthless criminal gangs in America, right up there with them. As soon as that happened, Juggalos across the nation have been profiled by police and by law enforcement agencies, treating them as gang members. You know what I mean? And we've had countless emails and countless reports from Juggalos basically saying how they've been discriminated and the prejudice against them for being a Juggalo, just for having a Hatchet Man tattoo or wearing Insane Clown Posse merchandise or any kind of Juggalo related merchandise, basically targeting them by law enforcement as a gang. Juggalos have lost their children. They've been kicked out of losing their jobs. They've been kicked out of the motherfucking military.
Wow.
You think about this. Somebody
to defend our country.
Right, a Juggalo basically signing up, you know what I'm saying, to protect America, to defend America, you know what I'm saying? Sacrificing their life, putting their life on the line for this.
Passing all the tests, doing all the training, and not having any issues with their performance.
No, and all of a sudden, you got a Juggalo tattoo, you're out. Or, you got a Juggalo tattoo, you can't re-enlist. You are now officially a gang member. We can't have you in the military. Wow. Think about how fucked up that is. Wow. Nothing makes me more mad when I hear about this. And Jay Webb has been sharing all the stories with me. Countless ninjas super upset, losing their jobs, getting kicked out of the military, losing their kids, being harassed by police just for having Juggalo related sticker on their car, getting pulled over, getting searched, and then
getting stiffer penalties too, because now they're gang members.
Right, and then getting put in the gang database. Oh, you got a tattoo? Oh, okay, so boom, and they put you in the gang database, and now that's forever, right? You're just gonna get fucked up and messed with throughout all the time. And whoever was there during this year's gathering of the Juggalo in Oklahoma City, they seen it firsthand, up in your fucking face. Because basically the police harassment down there was to a level never seen before. You know what I'm saying? The police had it already instilled in their minds. They had the hate. They had the prejudice. They had the what they thought Juggalos were without doing any fucking research to find out the truth. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right.
Without talking to anybody from other venues where we've had the gatherings. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Well, they
just-
want us back, by the way.
Right. They just basically took everything that they thought juggalos were and basically came up with a picture in their head. You know, just like most outsiders do, where they fear juggalos. They fear what they don't understand.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They don't understand juggalos. They don't understand us, so they fear us.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then they just came in with all that hate. Basically, police drones from low-flying helicopters, from police, convoys of police cruisers cutting through the grounds, just every hour, just
Right.
slowly going through the grounds, making sure. And then they had all the undercovers in the audience, like the undercovers going throughout the grounds, arresting people for petty shit, because that's all they could find.
Right,
They
right.
couldn't find anything.
So, and we said this before on past Juggalo shows. So basically, what you're saying in a nutshell is wasting taxpayers' money.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I mean, when you're not finding nothing, but you're hell bent on finding something. And once again, look, one thing that I would like to say real quickly, if for those of you who are listening for the first time, like I said, we're going to try and get everything out in the next couple hours right here on the show. But if not, you can also pick up an actual book that was written about this,
Right.
by Mr. Steve Miller. Would you like to touch on that right quick, J-Web?
Yes.
The name of the book and where they can find it and all that good stuff.
The name of the book is called Juggalo: Insane Clown Posse and the World They Created, and it is written by an amazing, award-winning journalist and writer named Steve Miller. And Steve spent about 2.5 to 3 years researching this book, and it is a exhaustively researched and proven. I mean,
Yeah.
he cites all of the sources and everything. But it explains exactly the origins of the Juggalo subculture, but more importantly, it looks at why the FBI gang designation came about, the effects it has on people, and where it's going into the future. It's not just a piece of music journalism. It's also, in my opinion, it's also just an amazing piece of cultural criticism.
Amen.
And it is definitely the definitive look at what happens to a subculture when that subculture is demonized.
Absolutely. I can't recommend that book any higher. If you want to find out more about the culture of juggalos, this is the best way, I would say.
Let me point out something real quick. All right, so we got you look at the entirety, like how many juggalos there are on the planet. Okay, let's just say arguably there's like 1 million or something, right? Like all together throughout all space and time, all across the world, there's just 1 million juggalos chilling, right?
Okay.
Anytime a juggalo commits a crime, all of a sudden they're just singled out. Oh, you're a juggalo? Oh, that's why you're doing the crime, because you're a juggalo. You know what I'm saying? Like when you look at any large group of people, there's always going to be bad apples. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be bad seeds, if you will. So all of a sudden you commit a crime. It's not like if a lawyer commits a crime and they kill someone. Oh, you're a lawyer? Oh, that's okay. Now we understand. You're a lawyer. Those damn crooked lawyers. You know what I'm saying? Like you know what I mean? You don't just target somebody out. Oh, you're a suburban dad. Oh, that's why you killed your wife. You know what I'm saying? But all of a sudden, a juggalo commits a crime. They make a big deal about it, and they focus in on that one thing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And all of a sudden, that's like proof. Oh, all juggalos are like this. They're all killers. They're all. You know what I'm saying? Drug dealers or whatever the crime was. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And when you look at a large group of people like that, you can't do that. But that's what's being done. It's like they feel like the FBI labeling juggalos a gang. They feel like that's what all juggalos are. And you know what I'm saying? Like anybody who's ever been to the gathering of the juggalos or to a concert or any kind of juggalo related event, like we all know what juggalos are, and it's so far from the truth.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so that's why we're marching. It's like we want people to know the truth about juggalos and who we are as a people, that we're not gang members, we're not killers, we're not rapists and all these things that they try to portray us to be. They're trying to ostracize us. They're trying to make juggalos into monsters. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And right.
Yes.
So in that unity rising up, you know what I'm saying? That's what it's about.
Right.
You know what I mean? And when we get down there and we're with all our fellow juggalos and fellow homies and just fucking marching those streets, waving our fucking flags, you know what I'm saying? Yes. And motherfuckers are going to be noticing. They're going to be taking notice. They're going to be filming that event. So yes, you act with honor.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
You act with dignity.
Yes.
But you're also loud and proud and saying the message that has to be heard, conveying the message that has to be heard. To do otherwise would defeat the whole purpose of why we're going down there.
Right.
You know what I mean? So yeah, like go down there with honor. Go down there mad as hell, because I am. You know what I'm saying? I'm mad as hell. You fucking can be mad as hell.
Absolutely.
But act with honor and dignity when you're there.
Yes.
Well
Because we're
said.
showing the world what we're really about.
Yeah, exactly.
Not the misconception, the reality.
Well said. Well said.
All right, look, before we get any further, I wanted to get some fellow Juggalo homies on the line. As you know, Hurricane Harvey slammed hard into Texas.
Man, terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Right.
I mean, there's a lot of people who are misplaced, and there's a lot of you know what they did prior to the actual hurricane hitting, and this breaks my heart to even repeat this. But those who were they couldn't leave because economically they just couldn't leave. You just can't get on a plane and leave. There's a lot of poor people especially in the city of Houston.
Right.
They were told by law enforcement to write their social security numbers on their arms, man.
Yep.
That just fucking it kills me to hear that. And man, for those people out there, man, I cannot stress if there's anything we can do. And by the way, that leads you into our homies that are going to be on the line with us.
So Scrub Care Unit and along with Fego Lovers have started the Hurricane Harvey relief drive.
That's right.
Which is basically an effort to raise money for basically all the victims at this point, like everybody that's suffering down there because of Hurricane Harvey. And we got them on the phone here. We'll get them on the phone here in a minute. They can explain it better than I can. But yeah, what a worthwhile thing, you know what I'm saying, to do, and time again, like Juggalos and I know us personally, have always contributed to charities and events and stuff like that throughout all the time, like, you know what I'm saying? And why don't they ever write about that?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like,
exactly.
where is that in the FBI gang assessment report?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, just a year ago, those guys, the same people that we're speaking to tonight, were raising water for the Flint residents,
Right.
I mean, just little things like that. And by the way, I'd be remiss if I didn't say the countless charitable things that the Hatchet has done in the years that we have been in business. Turkeys and clothing drives, and I mean, the list goes on and on. Toy drives, oh my goodness. But food drives. They only want to report that.
They only want to focus on the negative and just focus on that, and that's it. You know what I mean?
Because it sells papers and it gets it gets them ratings.
J Webb, what about the 20,000 cans of ravioli that were at the Masonic Temple Theater in downtown Detroit for Juggalo Day a couple years ago that went to the Forgotten Harvest food pantry?
Right, and they didn't even have the trucks to haul it all away. They weren't even prepared for how many cans there were going to be. And that's like straight from the heart of the Juggalo family.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Because it was like what was admission like?
That was it. That was it.
It was like one. It was like one can, but ninjas were bringing in like 100 cans. Yes. You know what I mean? Like that's what I'm saying. Like that's the heart and the spirit of the Juggalo family. You know what I mean? And where is that? Like where is that in all this gang assessment shit? Like where are those? Why isn't that focused on? You know what I mean?
And to be honest, they did so little research on Juggalos before classifying them as a gang, as we've seen from the papers that the ACLU forced them to release They basically didn't do any research or any due diligence, and they have egg on their face, and that's why they don't want to rescind this gang classification, and that's why we're marching, because they half-assed it and they didn't do their fucking jobs.
Right.
Amen.
Right, and law enforcement, like the FBI, the government, they're never going to admit that they were wrong.
No.
Of course not.
They got too much pride or whatever you want to call it, or
Ego.
ego, yeah, to do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's it's so interesting that basically the U.S. Department of Justice doesn't even put out that gang assessment list anymore.
Right. They
Right.
stopped it.
And this might be hearsay, but because we can't really prove it beyond a shadow of a doubt, but I think it's just because of how much backlash they got for putting Juggalos on the gang list.
Well, yeah,
And that's
because
what-
I don't think like the Bloods and Crips went to the ACLU and was like, "Hey, could you represent us?"
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
I don't see. Yeah, I don't see the Latin counts bringing in so much Chef Boyardee that they have to that they have to bring in they have to call in an emergency truck to haul it all
Right.
away.
When throughout all history has music ever been
Never.
so targeted, except for maybe like 2 Live Crew? Like, was it 2 Live Crew?
yeah,
like,
but even so, it wasn't to this magnitude.
No,
Right?
it
Right.
wasn't. It
was
was
a
like
bullshit thing in a small hick town, that was trying to enforce rules. The other thing is when the government tried to say that Judas Priest and Ozzy Osbourne were causing people to kill each other and kill themselves. That was really, to me, the only other time.
And really, it was Tipper Gore, Al Gore's wife, who really was the one trying to censor all of these artists, including Prince, where she actually read the lyrics to Darling Nikki.
Darling Nikki, yep.
right,
Nikki started to cry.
Oh my God.
right. That's awesome. Yeah, I would say this is unprecedented. This is a first. Like
Yes.
this is a first that this has ever happened. That music somehow is the catalyst. Like that juggalos have kind of like from the beginning evolved through music.
Yes.
It's like to become something much bigger, but it all started with music. So somehow that's like the core of the issue almost. You know what I'm
And
saying?
Rob, if they could do it to Juggalos, they could do it to the Kiss Army. They could do
Right.
it to somebody who likes
Grateful
Sheila
Dead,
E.
Fish fans.
Whatever, yeah, whoever.
That's why
whatever you prefer.
That's why it's so important to for this event, like to march and to stand up and to continue to make a big deal about it, so that changes are made. Just like the gang assessment database no longer being public, that's a fucking great change right there.
Right,
So
right.
hopefully that will never happen again.
And
You know what I'm saying?
And if I may, to those out there, I'm talking about music artists around the world. You all know of this struggle. You all know of this event coming up. For those of you who are not a part of this, well, fuck you. Because straight up, well, fuck you.
Right.
Because guess what? It could be your audience that could be targeted.
Right.
It could be fucking Pearl Jam, Eddie Vedder, and all anybody
Right.
that could be targeted. You know about this. You've been invited to this. Fuck you if you don't want to be a
Right.
part of this, because we may be just fighting for your fans as well.
Which we are.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm
are.
saying? We are.
Absolutely.
And you're exactly right. You're gonna sit back and just like, oh, we're straight.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Until it happens to you.
Right.
Right.
You know what I'm
Well,
saying? And then-
gentlemen, a great prophet once said, "Some scream Juggalo only when it's convenient."
Yes.
Oh, shit.
Yes.
Being lenient, because now we're standing up for everybody, and some people only want to stand up for a check. This isn't about a check.
Amen
bigger
to
than
that.
Yeah, like they'll get up on stage and yell Juggalo when the whole
When the
audience
pay
is
is coming.
Juggalos.
Right.
You know what I'm
Or
saying?
family.
Right.
Oh yeah, well let's prove family.
Right,
Prove it.
and then you
got
got
your chance.
You got a
September
chance to
16th.
show and prove, and you're a bitch hiding behind your desk or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
And we saw a lot of that when we early on in this whole thing, and it was very disappointing.
Yes.
Some of the artists who claim to have our back and who
To have Juggalos back.
To have Juggalo back.
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? To have the families back. Their whole fucking careers they've been hollering that.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
In some cases, I mean, Juggalos made their careers.
Right.
Literally
Yeah.
made their
Literally,
careers.
right.
And
Every penny they have, everything they own, came out of a Juggalo's pocket. And the
That's
one
right.
time,
The one
very
time.
one time, It's not a concert series. It's not. It's a one-time thing, and they're not willing.
Fuck it. Don't perform. March.
Right.
March.
Right.
Stand
Show
next
face.
to exactly.
can't-
Show face.
I
is
can't
right.
express it enough. Like, were you at the march?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Where are you at
That's
the march?
like
Because
you
that's
know-
going to be my shirt.
You know,
were you at the
right?
march?
You know,
Because I was. Shit.
A big light bulb just went off
Right.
over
Hey, man, hey, that's
Billy
copy-
Bill's head.
No, hey, fuck you, Billy Bill. I copy wrote that. Oh, shit.
hey, I can't.
I just registered the
All right.
website.
But seriously, right. Were you at the march?
Damn right.
You know
There
what I'm
you
saying?
go. Right.
Because, like, you know, like some Juggalo ninjas, they kind of like, oh, you know, how many gatherings were you at? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Or how long have you been down?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But to me, were you at the fucking march?
You know, let me say this, man. You
You know what I mean? That's
I,
that trumps everything. That's like more important than anything.
I know a pair of girls that from Illinois who have been down with the clown since since fucking Riddlebox. Have never missed a gathering ever, never missed a gathering, and they were like, "How could we miss the march? Of course we're
Right.
gonna be there." And of course I'm shouting out Monica and I'm shouting out Carol because these are two people that have said, hey, to their jobs, listen, come hell or high water, that little window we need off because we're going to drive from Chicago all the way to Washington, D.C. to make sure we are still there. Do they go to all the concerts? No. Do they make it to all the events? No. But they make it a point to go to every gathering and most Hallowickeds. And now they're like, there's no way we're going to miss the march. You got to be there. You got to stand up for your brothers and sisters. If you're not there, man, you know, again, then just like you said, you're a fucking punk.
Man, again, if, you know, and I said this on the last time we were talking about this, if y'all don't believe in the march, you know, you don't believe in it.
Yeah.
Okay, after everything that was said, after everything that was heard, after the whole history, the whole Juggalo history, and how much oppression that Juggalos have gotten since they've been labeled as a gang in 2011. If y'all just don't believe in the march, okay, I get it. Like, I can even respect that. Like,
Right.
you heard everything, and for whatever reason, you decided this isn't for me, this isn't important, I don't believe in it. But if you believe in the march and you're not going because you're afraid, don't be a bitch, man.
Come on,
That's
man.
all I'm
Come
saying.
on.
Man the fuck up, woman the fuck up, come out. Fear is not a fucking deterrent. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right,
It's
right.
so ridiculous that you're not willing. You know what the how minute the chance is that something's gonna happen to you. You know what I'm saying? It's like so small. Like, what do you think is gonna happen? It's like the press is portraying Juggalos, and even some Juggalos are believing
getting
it now.
sucked into
like,
it,
oh
right.
shit, it's gonna get crazy. Juggalos gonna be burning down houses and shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? They're even fucking believing the hype.
Armageddon's going to happen that afternoon.
Yeah,
Right.
People are always like, yo, well, Juggalos always go crazy, so they're going to go crazy, and now the police have military weapons because of Donald Trump, and they're going to use those military weapons on Juggalos. And meanwhile, Juggalos go to every hotel, every Denny's, every venue.
Right.
There's no problems. There's no issues. We travel, we fly, we go worldwide. Why are we not able to act appropriately during a march? Of course we're going to do the right thing, just like we always do. It's a non-factor. And to everyone out there saying ridiculous things like this is all a setup for the government to destroy us with like bombs and shit. I mean, what are you smoking? Because it's not
You know,
me.
yeah, that was one of the theories. I'm like, how does that fucking make sense? That the government are the ones that put together this Donald Trump thing so that they can fuck with the Juggalo. I'm like,
Right.
what?
Yeah,
What?
again, I really do not see the connection.
What?
Like, why Trump supporters are going to be fucking with Juggalos. And from what I've seen, a lot of Juggalos are Trump supporters. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't
Sad
know.
but true.
I know, man. I've been
but
surprised.
fucking
I've been
true.
surprised at that time and time again myself. But you know, that's
Never understood it.
right.
Never understood
but
it.
it's still true. You know what I'm saying?
It is.
So
It's
I don't.
sad but true.
I don't really understand why that's going to be a problem.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They
The problem?
might have problems. You know what I'm saying?
You know the problem right
Yeah.
now? for ninjas that I know is getting rides. And guess what? Everybody is caravanning. Everybody's jumping on rides. Like I said last time, we got the list. We're compiling it right now still. Rob, I got so many names of ninjas that are willing to give people rides. Man, I couldn't possibly tell you every single name here.
Sure.
But I do want to tell you that there are people leaving from the Chicago area, that are leaving from Iowa, that are leaving from Louisville, Kentucky.
Skippy Two-Rad from Arizona has room in her car.
See? And check this out. Everybody has room, and everybody's saying, "Hey, man, jump in my ride. Let's go together." And I'm going to get that list over so we can post it on the Juggalo March site.
I was just going to say that's a great idea.
Yes,
that's a great idea.
Yes.
There are also on the Juggalo March site. There is a little description on if some jugglers want to get together to charter a bus.
Yes,
which a lot of marches do.
Right.
Everything stuff. I want to give a shout out to a very, very, very cool person who's been helping me a lot with this past year and trying to organize the march. And her name is Solana Ramos, and she is a member of the ACLU of Wisconsin.
Okay.
And Solana contacted me. She is a juggalo, and she works for the ACLU, and she's also a community organizer. And does a lot of community work, much like you do.
Yes, sir.
And she's just
can't wait to meet her.
She's just super awesome. But Solana gave me a lot of ideas and resources that went directly into the March site and everything. And so I want to give her a shout out because she really is a juggalo who stood up and who shared her expertise with us. And she and her and so many other juggalos have just really gone so hard for this march, and so I want to
she's also going to be speaking at the march.
Awesome.
Yes.
That is so great.
I want to give a shout out to every motherfucker out there that's coming to the march.
Yes.
Can I give a shout out to every juggalo, every motherfucking homie, every affiliate, every supporter of the cause that are coming out to this march? I give you a fucking super prop shout out of all time, throughout all life, one motherfucking love forever.
That's right, man. All you boppers.
I got a question. I've heard from some people who are in situations where, their work or their family situation, they're not able to go, but they want to help the cause somehow. Some had even asked if there was ways they could contribute that would help pay the gas or the bus ticket or whatever for other ninjas that are trying to go but can't get there.
That's an awful good idea.
That's a really good idea, and I think, just off the top of my head, I think what we should do is tie that in with the list of caravanners that we'll be getting from Rude Boy.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Hell yeah.
That'd be great. But in all honesty, man, send that money to Hurricane Harvey people.
Yeah, that's great, man. That's
they really need it, man.
Speaking of which, let's see if we can get Bob from the SCU on the phone, and we're going to talk to him about his cause. And that's a great suggestion, because like at one point we were like, we noticed that other marches have done donations and stuff like that. Yeah. And for us, mad fucking love for even suggesting that. But to us, it's just like help a ninja get down there.
Right.
They can't afford it.
Literally.
You know what I'm saying? If you want to donate, help a ninja that can't afford, but that has the time to go. Help them get down there, a bus ticket or whatever.
And may I just throw out some really quick props to and look, I'm not sitting here sucking our own dicks, but damn it, man, some props to Psychopathic Records, man, for not allowing to have donations put to this, coming out of the pocket of the company for this.
Right.
This ain't free.
No.
You just don't set up shop
Believe me,
at the
it ain't
fucking
free.
National Mall in Washington, D.C. It's not free. Somebody's paying for that. Somebody's paying for that staging. Somebody's paying for those sounds. Somebody's paying for the lights to get all those streets blocked. Someone's paying for it, and damn it, that someone is the Hatchet. And man, so say what the fuck you want. If you want to drag the Hatchet's name all in the dirt, just know damn well that the Hatchet does for the Juggalos.
and make a list while you're at it. Make a list of all the companies and artists who spend their own money to make things better for Juggalos. I'll start the list. Psychopathic Records.
And I'll end it. Psychopathic Records.
Boom.
Drop the mic.
All right, let's see if we can get Bob on the phone here. Hello?
Hey, Rob.
Hey, how's it going, man?
Yes, sir.
How you doing?
Hey, doing good, sir. Whoop, whoop.
Whoop, whoop.
Rob,
Yeah.
Cap, Jay, Rude Boy.
All
And
right.
props on everything you're doing. Man, what an important show to be on.
No doubt.
It's our pleasure to have you on.
And yeah, we've been talking about the Hurricane Harvey relief drive that you guys are putting together, and what that's such a worthwhile thing right now, because I know all those people down there in Texas are hurting and have lost a lot through the hurricane.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about it, and like who's all involved in this.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you, Rob. I appreciate the opportunity to be on here to represent Scrub Care Unit and Fago Lovers. On the phone with me, they're on mute right now, but I also have John Shaw, Scrub Care Unit, and also Scotty D of Fago Lovers. We're partnering together to drive the Hurricane Harvey relief drive, and it's a three-pronged approach. Initial immediate fundraising drive is cash, focusing on this week. Ninjas, if you can, please dig into your pocket, donate to PayPal. 100% of everything we raise will be distributed Sunday. Half of it's going to the Red Cross effort. They are plugged directly into the fastest way to get a lot of relief to folks, and the other half is going directly to community-based relief. That will include water, supplies, school supplies, clothing drives, things of that nature. The second prong is and this is by popular demand. This is, as soon as we announced this yesterday, we've already had a handful, quite a few ninjas that want to know how can I donate something and let SU raffle it off or auction it off. Well, we're next 2 weeks we're going to take donations. We have that information out on Facebook. We also, Scotty and the Fago Lovers are running the story and promoting it. Psychopathic Records also heavily promoting it. Again, thank you so much, Rob, for all the support you've shown Scrub Care Unit at this point. You guys are nothing but wonderful to us.
Well, count me in on donating something, because I got a pair of wrestling boots that I'll be glad to.
And we got mad shit.
and-
We got mad shit. We
Yes.
can donate as well.
Oh, absolutely, gentlemen. I mean, we're trying to raise as much cash as we possibly can. If we can find artists willing to match what we can raise, to raise that immediate cash to get those water supplies, medical supplies, things of that immediate relief. I mean, we've got folks. I have family right now, both Juggalo and relation family. I mean, we're where they used to live now in 40 to 50 inches of water.
Jeez.
And being a Katrina evacuee, I was a ninja out of New Orleans, relocating to St. Louis area, I can tell you how devastating it is to lose everything.
Oh my God.
I mean, it's not, it is definitely on a personal level. This event right here on a personal level, but also the fact that we can mobilize the Juggalo family. We can once again demonstrate the huge heart that this family has. If you want to call it the gang, hey, whoa, what makes a Juggalo? I don't know. Whatever the fuck it is, I love it. Because we can band together, we can come together, we can show the love. It doesn't matter if they're Juggalo or not, they're family, they're hurt.
Amen.
Next month it might be family in St. Louis, next month family in Detroit. Scrub Care Unit's following the model that you set, Rude Boy.
That's right.
And
I
all
love
the
it.
other times you've laid the gauntlet down, we're following that.
I
That's what we're here
appreciate
for.
that. I appreciate that. For those who are in the Texas area, and I know Scotty D, you're down in Texas, and thank God Hurricane Harvey missed your area, but I mean, there's a lot of ninjas that are down in Texas that have reached out, and they're literally drowning in water.
Yeah. Even ninjas who have appeared at the gathering of the Juggalos, like
Yes.
Booker T from WWE and MVP, the pro wrestler. All these people are out of Houston, man.
My brother brother Hernandez, who just came to
Yes,
Detroit,
Sean Hernandez.
who was in Detroit on Sunday, had to go back to all of that destruction and devastation, man. And it's pretty sad, but I do agree with the Scrub Care unit that we could come together and band together, and you know damn well Psychopathic Records is going to help out in any way we can. Rudy Hill, on a personal note, will do whatever I can as well.
And it's kind of crazy in a way that we as a society have to count on the kindness of people like the Scrub Care unit to make stuff happen that our government isn't making happen.
Right.
I was talking to Daddy Longlegs from Wolfpack, and he was saying the mayor of Houston told people not to evacuate, even though the governor said they should, and that this has a lot of parallels to New Orleans and the disaster that happened there.
Right, that's pretty sad too.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that because I think at first didn't they didn't know it was going to be hit that hard in Houston.
The governor did, but the mayor didn't.
And then when they found out, they made a logistical decision not to, because they were saying if there was all of a sudden like 1.6 million people on the road, it would have been like, you know, just gridlock or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, the amount of people they expected to try to leave all at once.
Absolutely.
It would have been like a gridlock.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. But
Something
it feels like, at the very least, on a federal level, from as soon as Donald Trump was saying good luck to the people in Texas, right then, boats and different things should have been on the way down there. Like I saw, like yesterday, the California National Guard went there, and that's awesome. But every day is so important, and it's crazy to me that, again, it's civilians. It's the guy who owns the furniture store sheltering people, but the guy who owns the 18,000-seat arena church that taxpayers paid for won't help. You know what I mean? But it's the regular people that do.
Well, you know, and a shout out to just this regular ninja from Southgate, Michigan, who took his boat down there, to try to rescue people.
We're accepting, if you go, there's also PayPal me/Scrub Care Unit. There's another way to access it to make a donation. Any donation from a nickel to $500 is going to help out. The people are in such desperate need for things right now. If you've never seen devastation like this, if you don't want to, any support you can get would be awesome.
So that's scrubcare@yahoo.com is the PayPal email address.
Yes.
And what was the second place you could go? PayPal.me?
Ask that again, I'm sorry. Didn't hear that.
What is the second PayPal account you can go to? The first one was scrubcare@yahoo.com. What was the other one?
He gave it twice, but no, it's just one PayPal account.
Got you. Dope.
Yeah, and guys, if I could, please, I'd like to give the mic over to Scotty D in just a moment. But
not him.
Really quick, because
jeez.
I know you guys got a program to follow and schedule to keep. I would like to, maybe if I could get on the back end of the Harvey, just a minute to give praise out to certain individuals during the gathering.
Absolutely.
But leading up to that, just let ninjas know, our planned approach is, step one, we're trying to get cash to get immediate relief down there, be part of the overall relief effort, representing the family. Everything donated will be clearly marked from the Psychopathic Records.
Amen.
Hey, and speaking of jerseys, aren't you guys for dry clothes for these people?
Absolutely, sir. That was the next phase I was getting to. Any clothes, any donations, auctions, all that money is dedicated to children. That's all going to go back to getting the kids' clothes back, getting them school supplies back. That's going to be that second phase is going to be focused on children. Third phase, any clothing that's in your closet. You can send it to me. I'll make it part of the St. Louis collection event. If you're willing to pay to have the clothing sent here, if not, take your clothing to your local community. There's going to be drives everywhere, ninjas. care. They need diapers.
Oh, yes.
They need clothing. They need socks. They need everything, folks. We're talking, thousands of people that have lost everything.
Everything, literally everything. Living in shelters right now with just the clothes on their backs.
I'm gonna share you guys a personal story, and I hope my fiance forgives me. Lisa, I love you. You're my angel. We're going to be married while the march is going on, else Scrub Care Unit would be in Washington supporting the family. Okay, so we were getting married in Orange, Texas, Beaumont area. And that area is now under 50 inches of water.
Jesus,
so we've actually had to, last minute, relocate our wedding plans up to us. And we've got family support, and we've got Juggalo family support helping us last minute do that just today. That's just fresh news today in the life of Bob Adams. So this hurricane is even a fact that somebody getting married in St. Louis.
Wow.
So there's ninjas hurting way worse than I am. So family, please help them. Please support in some way.
Amen. I'm with you on this, Bob. I'm going to do my best to get my people together and get our resources together and get you guys hooked up. And I'm going to do the damnedest to make it work for you, man. You guys are definitely heaven sent, man.
And thank you for everything you do for everyone.
Hey, man, Scrub Care Unit is representing just the model that Rude Boy and the rest of the family has laid down. I mean, all we're doing is organizing and paying it forward. That's the Scrub Care U model. We're as powerful as the family makes us. So we are representing the collective might of what the family wants to do. So, guys, if we raise $1,000, it's being put to work. We raise $1 million, it's going to be put to work.
Damn
so
right.
what does the family want to do?
Damn right. Damn right. Scotty D, where you at?
Hey, can you guys hear me all right?
Scotty.
Hey, Scotty, how's it going?
Yo, what's up, y'all? Long time no see.
How's your first and foremost? How is your family? Everything's okay in Dallas, right?
Yeah, things are great. I mean, we barely got any rain, but
Thank
what
God.
I do want to reiterate is the complete and utter devastation down there. That last I heard, there are over 40,000 homes that are uninhabitable. Both of the major sports teams, the Rockets and the Texans stadiums are filled,
Yes.
either filling up or at capacity. I've got the 9 to 5 company I work for has offices down there, so I've got coworkers and friends that have been affected. So I was absolutely 100% on board whenever Bob and John contacted me to help even a little bit with this drive. And I think that if we just bring, if we just make sure Juggalos know about it, then hopefully they'll jump on board with this. And
I agree. Absolutely, I agree. You know, you guys down there in Texas, you guys are always in my prayers. But geez, man, the devastation just to look at on television and to know that not only is it just families, but you're talking about elderly people who are in hospice, who are already getting the bone, and now they're trying to. I mean, geez, man. Look, it's really sad, but I agree with you. If we come together, and you know damn well Psychopathic Records now. Look, I'm looking at Rob in his eyes, and I can just see the fire because the fire's in mine. Like, what can we do now?
Right.
Well, we're gonna go through that
Take
damn
action
warehouse
now.
and start going crazy.
That's right.
But I commend you guys on this, and you know damn well I'm gonna help you guys in any way I can, and you know the hatchet is always with you. And with that being said, we're gonna continue to pass along the information. And once again, thank you guys for joining us tonight.
What happened? They're gone?
All right. Well, it seems like we got some technical difficulties. But anyways, Juggalos, you know the importance of this Hurricane Harvey relief. Make sure you go to the social medias. Definitely go to Fago Lovers. They'll have all of that information. And, of course, you can go to Rudy Hill over on Facebook. I've already got it posted already there. So with that being said, Rob, back to the march and the importance of the march.
All right, we're gonna go to a quick break, and
Okay.
when we get back, I want to share some basically. J-Web has compiled a list of just some of the juggalos that have been affected by the FBI labeling. And also we're going to talk about we're gonna basically premiere the infomercial.
Oh yeah.
For
wow.
the March, right? And then also we're going to talk about the concert situation, like where it stands right now. And we're going to go through that, right? We're going to go through that in great detail to get everybody up to speed of what's going on.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying, with the March. So let's take a quick break right now. And when we come back, we're going to continue to school it on this Juggalo March Show edition.
Yes.
If you will.
Yes.
Yes, I will indeed, brother.
And let's not forget, we have a new light video that we're premiering tonight as well.
What?
Yes.
Man, are you kidding me? We got so much flavor.
You know what's a dope show when a light world premiere is something we mentioned and now we're in. Because that's a headliner in its own right.
Right. So we got some flavor lined up for you, so stay tuned. We'll be back in a minute.
Oh, yeah, man. We're back once again on the Juggalo Show. I'm talking about, of course, the March, the Juggalo March edition, Jump Steady.
No doubt.
Now, we wanted to get J-Web on with some of these testimonies, right?
Yeah, basically, J-Web has compiled a list of just a few of the juggalos that have been affected, that have been basically oppressed, if you will, since the gang database announcement. Now, back in was it 2012 when basically we asked all juggalos to write in with their it was at the ICP seminar where he asked all juggalos, like, please write in if you experienced any sort of discrimination against you personally. And there was over 5,000 emails got sent in, each one with the story about how they've personally been affected in some sort of negative way by everybody from their boss to the government, to the police, like all the way down to the court system, everything. You know what I'm saying? How they've gotten the bone. And anyway, Jay, why don't you share with us a few of these. A few of the stories.
All right. Well, first of all, let me just say that this is but a small portion of the stories. This is still 22 pages of stories here, but altogether there have been probably about Ferris the Juggalo lawyer estimated that altogether about 7,000 entries.
Wow. Okay, right.
7,000.
And those are only the reported
Right, I was
stories.
just about to say.
You know what I'm saying?
That some
Like,
ninjas are like, man, I got my story, but I ain't wasting.
That's just the
2 hours
surface.
on it.
That's
Shit.
just the surface, like the surface of what's happening.
Exactly. That's like a small percentage.
Crazy small.
Well, how we're going to do this is I'm basically just going to read brief portions from each one of these stories. I'll start out with this one here, which speaks to the kind of discrimination and just plain ridiculousness that's our veterans are subjected to as a result of the gang label. My name is Jason. I am a recently retired Army specialist who's been a Juggalo for over 10 years now. I've been to Afghanistan and served my country proudly. I was over there from 2009 to 2010. I've earned several awards and medals from my time there. However, in early 2012, a staff sergeant noticed my Hatchet Man tattoo, which I had for over 5 years now, and told me I needed to get it covered or removed. The Army I served with and government I once believed in has turned their back on me. They threatened to kick me out. I received my honorable discharge in August, but I have been barred from reenlistment because of my tattoos. He goes on to talk about how
now this is a veteran
who fought for our country,
for the country, put his life on the motherfucking line. Think about that for a minute. Wow. You know what I'm saying? Like, he put his life on the line. He fought for our country
Right.
in Afghanistan, and because of a hatchet man tattoo, he,
no longer
he is
welcome.
barred from re-enlisting into the army. He is kicked out. Fuck you for everything you've done. None of that means shit. That hatchet man tattoo is all that matters now. That's how they summed him up. You know what I'm saying?
Mind blowing.
As the worth of a man. You know what I mean?
Mind blowing.
Like that's just
one story.
That's so fucking crazy.
Here's one that's absolutely just devastating. This one is from a woman named Aaliyah. I was pulled over by police in Tulsa, Oklahoma, with my 2-year-old niece in the car because I had Hatchet Man and Hatchet Girl tattoo or decals on my back window. I was ordered out of the car and thrown against the car hood, despite being visibly pregnant at the time. Whoa. And searched by the cop simply for the Juggalo-related stickers on my car. The officer asked me if he knew why he pulled me. If I knew why he pulled me over, I said no, and he said because I'm a gang member. I laughed at hearing this, and he said it's not funny, and if you don't take those off the window, the next time you will go to jail. And he let me go. Soon after, I experienced pain and hemorrhaging, and then had to go to the ER and found out that my baby wasn't going to make it.
Oh no!
I tried to pursue the case further, but they told me that I had no evidence that the cop was the reason I miscarried, and then if I pushed it, I would lose because I was a gang member.
Oh my God!
That's crazy.
Oh my God.
Here's one from this is from Dana.
Yeah, imagine like the rest of her life. You know what I'm saying? Like you could sit here and hear the story, but you cannot be in her shoes.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
No matter what, like we can be like, man, that's fucked up, but no.
Like
to her, that's her whole fucking world destroyed in one moment,
and still have to continue to live it over and
right.
over and over again.
You know what I mean? Like
you
think about her and her, like what she went through in that moment, like losing that child. You know what I'm saying? Through police harassment, inspired by the fact that he was viewing her as a gang member. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the stories just go on from there. I was at the hospital with my daughter in September 2014 due to my now ex abusing her when the cop doing the report walked in. He asked what gang I was in. I asked him what he was talking about. He said that my tattoo, referring to the Hatchet Man, represented a nationwide gang. I explained to him that it was simply a symbol used by people that like a group called ICP. He said, yes, that's the gang. I told him, no, it's not a gang. It's a rap group that actually helps people through their music and in the world. He said, well, I'm putting in the report that you were asked about your tattoo and lied, and refused to give more information about the gang. End quote. I attempted to get a copy of the report so I could press charges against my now ex, and was told they mysteriously couldn't find it.
Jeez, man, what the hell, man?
Yep.
Wait. If these few testimonies doesn't sway you to get off your ass and get to Washington, D.C., I don't know what the fuck does, man.
Yep.
Does anyone have a heart anymore?
Yep. There's a rather large story here about a gentleman who was in the National Guard. He goes on for like 6 paragraphs, so I can't read the whole thing.
Okay.
But he talks about he gets pulled over for having a Hatchet Man decal on his window. Let's see. I had a Hatchet Man tag on my front bumper that happened to match the Hatchet Man tattoo on my left arm, and I was asked what my rank was in the Juggalo gang, to which I responded there was no such thing. He then lunged toward me in an aggressive manner, saying I was going to jail and my kids were going to a foster home because I was a gang member. Now, by this time, his backup had arrived, and it was someone who actually knew me. The second officer walked up and saw me sitting on the ground and asked the first officer what was going on. The first officer began telling the second officer the same lies he had told me, to which the second officer replied, "You're joking, right? I know this guy. He's in my son's unit." Wow. Referring to National Guard.
Right.
Second officer helped me stand up and asked about my clothes, and I told him about the search and being accused of being in a gang and stealing a vehicle. The second officer then asked the first why I was pulled over, and the first officer responded that it was because he saw the hatchet man tag on the front of my vehicle. Second officer asked if I resisted arrest, and I said no, and I told him I did everything I was asked or told to do with a gun to my face. By now, 2 more patrol...
Wait, with a gun to his face?
Yeah, the first cop stuck a gun in his face, despite the fact that this guy had his hands on the steering wheel like you told him to.
What the fuck
he goes on from there. The second cop had his back, but he said, I told them I would have stopped to remove my shirt so they could see that none of my tattoos were in a place that would be in open view if I could wear a Class B uniform according to Army regulations. Because after what happened here, he got in trouble with his National Guard superiors. Right. The officer then said I could remove my sweatshirt. All of my tattoos were photographed. My information was logged in as being a suspected gang member. Because of this action, I also ended up in trouble with the command of my National Guard unit and with the unit I was working under at the training center. I spent the next 2 months being investigated by the Army Criminal Investigation Division and was suspended from duty for 2 weeks. I was reduced in rank from specialist to private first class and was discharged from active duty to regular drill status 4 months early. Because my mother-in-law was also active duty at the same training station, she was also questioned and investigated because of this incident.
Well, she's a gang member too?
Yeah.
What the fuck is going on?
That's just crazy as fuck, man.
Yep.
And what can you do? Like, you're so helpless, like, you know, at the mercy of all these people that just look at you as a gang member. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And you just got to sit back and fucking take it, see your whole world just fuck with like that. And on top of that, think about all his, like, you know, fellow soldiers and stuff might be looking at him sideways now, thinking all of a sudden he's a gang member. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like it's just, man, it's just so insane.
Yeah. Here's a story that's only 1 sentence long, but it says a lot. I have a hatchet man tattoo on my upper arm. Because of that, I was unable to enlist in the military, which was something I've always wanted to do. That is a very, very, very
powerful, man.
common complaint.
Right.
Yeah. And he sums it up in just one sentence. This
right, somehow sending you on a whole nother path in life than the path that you want to be treading
right,
on.
Exactly. That you've had a passion for, that you wanted to do, and just because you like something that the world doesn't like.
Right.
What is going on?
I know.
Man? What the
That's
fuck?
crazy.
Here's another one that I know a lot of juggalos will be able to relate to. I put a Hatchet Gear sticker on the back of my car a few years back. I would get pulled over 3 to 5 times a month for barely speeding, or the officer mistakenly thinking I wasn't wearing a seatbelt. After 3 months, I took the sticker off, and I haven't been pulled over since.
Right. Jeez. Profiled.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's exactly right, Jump Steady.
Right.
Absolutely.
I'm a preschool teacher, and I have a Hatchet Man tattoo on my leg.
Oh, geez.
I had a parent tell me that because I belonged to a gang, she didn't feel her child would learn anything positive from me, and had her child pulled from our Head Start program. But I had a few Juggalo parents in my class, and they were the most involved and outspoken, and stood up for me when other parents tried talking down on me. I'm one hell of a good teacher, no matter what kind of music I'm down with. And that's from a woman named Nina from Arizona.
Nina, man, keep doing what you do. Teach the youth, man.
Right, no doubt. I mean, this is like showing you too that, like, you know, Juggalos are, you know, they're, you know, in the National Guard, they're in the military, they're teachers, they're lawyers. You know what I'm saying? There's Juggalos from all walks of life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they're people. We are people. You know what I'm saying? And productive members of society.
Yes.
If you want to look at it from that perspective, like from the people on the outside. You know what I'm saying? Like
hardworking taxpayers.
Right. And some of the most beautiful, spiritual, creative people on the planet. Like we all love Juggalos. We're Juggalos. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And it's like, it's so infuriating to sit back and listen to these stories about our family members being fucked with like this. You know what I mean? Their lives being disrupted, even to the point of their, kicked out of the military or losing their child. Like that one lady had a miscarriage because being at the hands of being at the mercy of a police officer on the side of the fucking road. You know what I'm saying?
Let me just say this too for the record, man. That
a gun in your face. You know what I mean?
A gun in your face.
That's
man.
That's how they do when you get pulled over. A gun in your face.
And let me just say this for the record, because I know the naysayers and the haters are all going to say those were just made up stories. Look, those are fucking passionate stories that fucking J-Web doesn't have time in his fucking Sunday afternoon, let alone in his personal life, to be sitting here making up on a fucking Wednesday evening. That's for damn sure.
Yeah.
You can't make this shit up.
Right.
No,
you
can't.
What I'm saying?
My mouth, I'm trying to hold my wig because I only got a little bit of hair and I don't want it to all fly off. So
Yeah.
And on top of that, I really, I can't believe anybody would be sitting there thinking that we made this shit up. Like, this is all big conspiracy theory.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm finding it hard to even believe that, and I'm not on social media, but if people are actually saying that, that is so fucked up on so many levels.
Man, you know what? Here's the bottom line, man. Especially if they can't be there, then let's knock it. Yeah. Just like with anything.
Yeah. I'm not
knock
even,
it.
You know what? I'm not even worried about them. You know what I'm saying? These are the motherfuckers I'm worried about.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? The Juggalo family members that are being fucked with because of this FBI being labeled a gang member.
How does a guy not be able to go and enlist to fight for our country?
Right.
To put his life on the line.
Right.
For us.
Right. And that's why that's even more personal to me, because
I know, because you had a passion
in the military,
to do it.
Being in the military, I can't even imagine that. If I had a Hatchet Man tattoo and they're fucking, all of a sudden I'm in trouble or some shit.
Right, for nothing.
They're kicking me out or causing me not to re-enlist because of that. Like, you know what I'm saying? I would be so disrespected on such a huge level.
Disrespected
to be summed up by that one Hatchet Man tattoo. You know what I'm saying? To be summed up the whole worth of your life, the whole worth as a person, as a soldier in the Army.
Right.
That's all they're looking at now. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Oh
like how much disrespect can you endure? You know what I mean?
That just blows my wig away. I seriously can't even.
There's still so many stories that we could talk about. This one is from a single mother who she says who's trying to further her education. I graduated with 2 bachelor degrees, criminology, criminal justice, and sociology. I'm afraid to go back for my master's in sociology and continue my research project that looked at the Juggalo community. I'm afraid that by having wrote about my love of the music and family, that it could ruin everything I've worked so hard for as a single mother, that it would mess up my future and my son's. I've read why the FBI and the National Gang Identification Center has classified Juggalos as gang members, and while they have some damning evidence, they don't look for the sociology part of those cases, but instead the small outer layer of people. For instance, someone...
And I dispute that they actually have damning evidence, because they clearly don't, and the ACLU getting them to release their documents publicly prove that.
That's right. That's right. For instance, someone could commit a crime wearing red, but has a Hatchet Man tattoo. Instead of being labeled a blood gang member, they are going to be labeled a Juggalo gang member, because that tattoo was easier identified than a color, even if the blood's affiliation and criminal activity came far after the love of the music. I fought hard for my education, and the fact that I love the music sets me up to being labeled a gang member is downright ridiculous and unfair.
Amen.
It just,
speaking of which, too, like I know police officers that are Juggalos.
Me too.
And they personally told me, like, they hide the fact that they're a Juggalo. They don't want anybody to know, because they're afraid of what the repercussions are going to be.
Right.
If that became public knowledge. So it's like they have to be a Juggalo on the down low, like afraid of what the powers that be are going to do to them.
Right.
And think of how crazy that is, because you're obviously talking about good cops. Like, we live in a world where there's bad cops, and it's very, very difficult for them to get in any trouble or lose their job, even if they like murder someone on tape.
Right.
But a good cop who likes ICP and Juggalo music is suddenly, like, similar to the military case. They're suddenly disrespected as humans. They're not people anymore in the eyes of the government.
Absolutely. They're
Right.
and they're vindicated by their peers. It just blows me away.
They go from being everyday heroes, everyday soldiers, to all of a sudden they're a criminal.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? No matter what their past
nothing.
record shows, they can be spotless that whole time.
Right.
It doesn't fucking matter.
Everyday criminals without being convicted of anything.
Right.
Unreal.
But the same
Right,
cop
everyday heroes.
could be the biggest fan of contemporary mainstream gangster music, where every song's about drugs and money and guns and whatever, and that will be totally fine.
Yeah, that's straight.
Oh yeah, that's acceptable.
Right? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's just like that's just wrong.
Wow.
Here's another. Here's a story from Maxine B in Arvada, Colorado, and this story is interesting because it kind of looks at kind of the other side of the FBI a little bit. I had a homie who recently passed away, and the authorities ruled it a suicide when there was clearly no reason for him to do such a thing. My late friend's mother contacted the FBI, and they said there was nothing they could do to reopen the case and investigate it as a homicide due to the fact that he is a juggalo. Wow. The only thing the family asked is that they open the case and further investigate, as the evidence of him committing suicide is circumstantial and very inaccurate. But the FBI made it clear that the only reason they won't open the case is because of his juggalo tattoos, which they say label him as a gang member. Wow. Now think about that for a second. This is the highest law enforcement agency in the land. It's the U.S. Department of Justice.
Right.
And they won't do their fucking
job.
Right.
Because of a Hatchet Man tattoo.
And they won't do what's right by that family. Like, that family is like, trying to find peace.
They want closure.
They want exactly to find out what happened to their loved one. You know what I'm saying? And this is what they get.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
I can't even fathom it.
Yep. This is a story that I also know. I've heard the same story at least 50 times in just the last year when I talked with Juggalos. I was stopped while walking down the road and searched because of my Hatchet Man tattoo. I was found to have marijuana on my possession and was held for a week in the county jail on minor misdemeanor charges and was kept in isolation because of my gang status. A week for a non-jailable offense? Wow. What the fuck?
Right.
That happens all the time. Yes, he got caught with a controlled substance. He broke the law. Mm-hmm. He should be punished according to the statutes of law in that state.
Absolutely.
But being held in isolation for a week,
right?
It's like whatever happened to the getting the ticket and the fine and say show up for
right. We'll see you in court next month.
Right. This one will resonate with anybody who's ever interviewed who's ever had a job interview. I was on my way to a job interview and was pulled over by 2 Marietta police officers. The reason I was stopped was for illegal tint on my windows, which I did not have. What I do have, however, is a Hatchet Man sticker on my rear window. When asked to step out of the vehicle and turn around, I cooperated and was forced against the vehicle, and my wallet was taken, which also has a Hatchet Man symbol on it. One officer commented, "Wow, you really like this symbol. So what hood name do you go by around here?" I replied, "I don't have a hood name. My name is Alex." Both officers insisted I was lying and told me to take off my shirt. I have 6 ICP tattoos, and they harassed me, ripped my shirt, and cut me behind my ear while trying to take my shirt off for me because they claimed I wasn't doing it fast enough. For the record, my shirt was a dress shirt with buttons down the front. I was informed that all my tattoos were gang affiliated, and they were in a special folder for gang tattoos now. The cops took pictures of me and my tattoos and recorded them in a book. I am not, nor have I ever been, a gang member. I am simply a juggalo.
Now for
And the guy's on his way for a
job
fucking
interview.
job interview.
For
Torn
those
over his
shirt
head.
up.
For those that don't know, the police and law enforcement agencies throughout the United States actually have classes. They actually have people that teach cops how to identify juggalos. Like, this is 100% documented. There's footage.
Yet they will.
It's just a matter of time, KG.
All right, look, I want to,
We could go on forever with
we can
these,
go
man.
on and on with this for 7,000 emails.
We can,
you know,
yes.
the point is, juggalos, our family, are being discriminated against, and they're being targeted, and by all walks of life. You know what I'm saying? Like juggalos had it hard enough as is. Like, being a juggalo, I feel like we're ostracized by society in large because they
Right.
don't understand. And to be honest, there's jealousy too.
There's
you
a
know,
lot of envy.
they see how much fun juggalos are having at the concerts, at the gathering of the juggalos. They see the footage,
right.
and they see the camaraderie, and I really feel there's a jealousy in that.
I agree.
They wish they could have that happiness, but they don't understand it, and they don't, for whatever reason, they don't want to. And a lot of ninjas become juggalos just by going to the gathering.
Right.
You know, news reporters, or they're going with a friend, and all of a sudden they're like, oh shit, they get drawn in. You know what I mean? Because they see the magic, they feel the magic, And I feel like a lot of reports about the gatherings, reporters go in with just this negative outlook. Like, they think they're going to slam it, but then they're like, damn, they write about this.
Right.
But when they get down there, they're like, man, this is nothing what I thought it was going to be.
Just the
You
opposite.
know what I'm saying? And then all of a sudden, it's a real positive piece about how awesome it was, and how juggalos are showing love, and they're like, where else am I being offered food and water? You know what I'm saying? Just everybody looking out for each other. It's like this huge family. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But people, whether it be jealousy or fearing what they don't understand, like, we've always been ostracized,
Forever,
put down. Like, why do you think ICP says the most hated band in the world? That's the truth. You know what I mean? It's like, to the whole, musical,
The whole music industry.
the whole music industry, even though they have platinum and gold plaques all up the ass, it doesn't matter. Like, you know what I'm saying? They are stricken from the records, if you will. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like, if you look at a book about some of the greatest musicians of all time, it could have 1,000 names in there, and ICP
Like
won't
the
be
A to Z
mentioned.
guide.
Right. ICP won't be mentioned. You know what I'm saying? And there's a reason for that. It's
ICP won't be mentioned, but Criss Cross would.
Right. You know what I'm saying?
really.
Right. For real.
Or Kid and
Who
Play,
probably
or-
did like one album for a
No,
million
exactly,
sales. You know what I
exactly,
mean?
no doubt.
They'll be mentioned. You know
Yes,
what I'm saying? But
yes.
ICP, who is a staple, like a household name.
Yes,
You know what I
yes.
mean? And juggalos get it the same way. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? Because nobody understands. They never dig deep enough. They're just looking at whatever they see, and they just make their opinions based on what reporters and the media and the music industry is portraying, and it's affected us all. You know what I'm saying? So that's where we're left with, man. We're left
Yes.
with being, discriminated against, being fucking targeted. You know what I mean? And ninjas suffering every day because of what happened. And all we want is for motherfuckers to just be like, we were wrong, and fucking take us
We were
completely
wrong.
remove us from the database. Let fucking the law enforcement agencies know across the world that, hey, juggalos are not a gang. Stop fucking targeting us.
Right.
Stop fucking discriminating against us. Stop giving us the bone. You know what I'm saying?
Shut down that fucking class that you're having for law enforcement
Right.
against juggalos.
Right, exactly.
How the fuck does that work in this society, man?
Just if I may, for those who are interested in finding out more about this class that's Jump Steady and Rude Boy are talking about, the class is written about in great detail in Steve Miller's book. And as a matter of fact, he actually interviews the main cop who actually gives the seminar.
Right.
And it's very it's very very fascinating just seeing where his point of view is, because it's just so far removed from reality.
Can you imagine being a Juggalo cop sitting in one of those fucking
Right.
classes? Like,
what the fuck am I doing here?
right, like, you know, how twisted you would feel.
Right,
like, what
right.
the fuck, you know?
Let me ask this now. We talked about the march and how it's going to go and everything. Do we have a list of guest speakers?
Yes, we have a whole.
Is that going to be announced at a later time? Or?
Yes, the plan is
in the program.
With the program
Okay.
that we'll release hopefully within the week or less, within 7 days or less, we're going to release the program. You will be able to download it and all that, or just look at it through your smartphone or whatever. But it'll have basically have an itinerary of everything that's going to go down and all the speakers that are going to speak.
Right.
You know what I mean? And interesting note, we will have Juggalo homies giving testimonies, some of these ninjas live giving testimonies about their personal experiences and how they've been harassed and persecuted by the police and or kicked out of the military or losing their children, like ninjas are losing their kids through custody cases just for the fact that they have a hatchet man or listen to Juggalo related music because you're a Juggalo, you're a gang member, you're not fit to be a parent. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So it's just that, you know, it's just what happens. But anyway, there will be Juggalos giving their testimonies, and there will be guest speakers, you and I included.
Absolutely.
Rudy,
I'm
KG,
honored. I am so honored.
included. He's going to be the master of ceremonies throughout the whole event. And also KG will be speaking as well at the march in Solana, like we were talking about earlier. Steve Miller, hopefully. we're still trying to confirm that.
Yeah.
But and just basically, and of course, Insane Clown Posse and others, will be stepping up to the stage and voicing their words and giving their insight onto this this horrific chain of events ever since the FBI has labeled us a gang.
Absolutely.
And
now,
and how much trouble that has caused. And
caused a shitload of trouble.
Just like the cops in Oklahoma City, they got a lot of egg on their face.
Yes.
The FBI got a lot of egg on their face.
A whole lot, and they don't like that.
They really do, because they know they're fucking wrong. When the ACLU gets involved, you know what I mean?
Right.
They know they fucked up. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right,
And they're
right,
just
right,
trying to
right.
brush it on the rug and all that. But the damage is done. The stigma, if you will, is there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, people have, basically they have their opinions now. The law enforcement, everything. They're still chilling. Like, oh yeah, they're a gang. You know what I'm saying? Because nobody's ever told them they're not a gang anymore. Stop doing what you're doing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Okay, so talk about, you just said, the bone, by being labeled on this list. Let's talk about the concert.
Okay.
Let's go into that.
So we're going to go into this in detail. So basically, what to this late, I was working on the gathering and stuff like that. But
I know you were.
And J Webb, I know J Webb's been working on it with Billy Bill, and I'm telling you, we have been shut down, right? Just like the gathering,
Right.
Shut the fuck down in Washington D.C. by every fucking venue. We've had it where venues are like, we're doing it, and everything was good, and the paperwork's coming along, and then somewhere someone magically, makes that call, or something happens or whatever, and all of a sudden they pull the plug and they slam the doors, in our face.
Right.
So ever since
That's several venues, right?
that's all the venues.
Wow.
Yes.
Every last one
That's
of them.
incredible.
We were
Wow.
And that stretches out 2 hours from Washington.
What?
Yeah.
We were looking. Me and Billy Bill were looking up all the way up into Pennsylvania,
Oh my
2.5 hours away, and yeah, it's like Jumpstay said. I was on the phone with a fairgrounds, and they said, yeah, we've got that date open and everything. You seem like you seem like you're really cool and everything. Tell me about the bands. I told them a little bit about the Juggalos and everything, and she said, all right, well, listen, I got to talk to the co-owners and everything, but she said she's very, very friendly and everything.
Sound like it was a go.
Yeah, and the next day, radio silence. So I ended up calling her, and she ends up, and I could tell that she was just going, ignore
Yeah,
or whatever
yeah.
and everything. So she finally texted me back and said, "Yeah, the other board members don't want to do it. We heard more about your band."
There was a skate park that we were talking to for a while. Now this is ever since I came on board,
Sure.
and we were talking to them, and now they do crazy concerts out in the skate park all the time.
Right,
It's like heavy metal,
The craziest concert.
yeah, like straight up like skinhead style, and so they're open to everything, right? Okay, so we got in touch with them. They were like, "Cool, yeah, we're down with everything." Boom, and then all of a sudden, for whatever reason, it just changed, and we got an email back saying that this concert is too close to the community.
What?
I swear to you,
Are
too
you
close to
fucking
the
kidding
community
me?
for us to consider putting it on.
What?
Yes,
Oh
100%.
my God!
So like in their
Jump
minds, this concert's just going to be so out of control. It's going to jeopardize the community at large.
and not the skinhead heavy
Right.
metal bands that come through.
And time again, the problem is that with this being a political rally,
Yes.
that's a strike because the political tension is like really big right now across the United States because of what's been happening.
Of course.
And justice has a way of making people really tense.
Right, no doubt.
Now I'm not really big in the political thing, but from what I gather, the it's basically when it gets really bad is when race is involved.
Right.
It's like the prejudice, and if there's any like race issues involved, that's when the fighting happens.
Right.
You know
No
what I'm
doubt.
saying? And there's people fighting, for a lot of good causes, and I'm talking about like, that's a whole nother thing, but they're taking down statues now of like people that were slave owners and shit like that.
Yes.
Which should happen. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? Like,
Yes.
Why should there be Confederate flags on courthouses and federal buildings?
Right.
There is no participation trophy for losing a war.
Anyway,
They
we're
don't
not-
hang-
we're
They don't
not-
hang a WCW banner on Monday Night Raw.
that's a whole nother discussion. You know what I'm saying? But like, that's where the fighting is. Like when it's really fucking intense and people are very impassioned about varying different views, like crazy different views, and it's all like race style. But anyway, the political tension is real heavy right now, especially for marchers, because like people having a march like that, even that Trump rally, they might have problems. People coming out protesting them, thinking they're racist. You know what I'm saying? And maybe they
That's
are.
the good
Well,
thing
they
about
are.
it.
So
Right. So again, I don't know enough about it, but
we do.
right.
Right,
But
right. Well, I was going to just say the good thing about it is that there is no confusion about where Juggalo stand.
No.
Fuck
That's
the rebel
right.
flag,
No.
fuck racism,
It-
fuck misogyny, fuck all of it.
Right.
We don't have counter protesters.
Yeah,
no
it-
one is coming to hate on us. People come and hate on other groups because they're racist or because they're whatever. We don't actually have that problem, and I think that's something that a lot of people on the internet don't understand.
they might have problems. The Trump rally might
On
have
their
problems
own.
on their
Nothing to
own.
do with us.
Nothing to do with us.
Right.
You know what I'm
We
saying?
have problems being classified as a gang. We don't have problems where groups of citizens show up to be like, I don't want those juggalos here.
Right.
That's more of a government thing. With racists and other things, or Trump supporters, people can be very vocal, like, I don't want them here. And then they show up and then there's problems.
Okay, so because it's a political rally,
Right.
that we're marching on Washington, and more so because we're juggalos,
Right.
everybody is shutting their doors. Nobody wants to be a part of
Left
this.
and right,
And even
yes.
if they did, like, oh yeah, we've done Juggalo concerts and all that, the powers that be
Said no.
are shutting them down. And a lot of times it's police, they're finding out, oh, you're trying to do this, concert? No. Or the city or whatever shuts it down. Like,
I mean, my God,
and
we've
that's-
been touring
that's the thing,
Maryland and Washington,
What's-
D.C. for 20-some years.
What's that-
The 930 Club
Right.
and fucking, I mean,
What's
what?
that first venue that shut us down that we had lined up? The very first one.
The Jiffy,
Jiffy
yeah,
Lube
I
Center.
remember,
So
yeah.
when we got shut down by them, which we had an inside story of what happened there, we went and we found a property that was like perfect. It was an outdoor property. The guy was super cool, all about it. Spent months and months like getting all the paperwork and for it to get approved by the city. And it looked like everything was going through because Billy Bill and I don't know if you were talking to him, Jason, we're talking to him, And basically, they were like, yeah, everything's looking good, and all of a sudden, at the last minute, boom, boom, no. Oh. And so that killed a lot of time right there because everybody over here thought we were good. We had the space lined up. So then it's like scramble, scramble, scramble. Everybody shut us down in the whole fucking city.
So are you telling me that there's not going to be a concert?
I'm not saying that. But what I want to do first, though, is play the infomercial, which discusses the bones.
Okay.
Kind of discuss. When we come back, we're going to talk about where the situation lies and what solutions we have to still do the concert. Because no matter what, they are not shutting this down. No matter what.
Yes.
We will be in D.C. marching and performing with concerts.
That's what I'm talking about, man. Fuck yeah.
And now don't.
The revolution will be juggled.
That's right. Don't, no matter what, the march is going on. No matter whatever else happens, we have the permit. The march is happening. Speeches will be heard. And also, according to the permit, we're allowed concerts too, and we're going to talk about that when we get back.
Right. I got the permit right here.
Right. All right. Anyway, so let's go ahead and watch this infomercial. I want to add at the end of the infomercial, we're going to play the new light video.
At the end of the infomercial, or at the end of the?
At the very end of the infomercial.
Okay.
We will play the new light video. All right.
In 2017, you can be branded a gang member for wearing your favorite band's t-shirt or having their sticker on your car or your bike. In 2017, you can be fired from your government job for being a fan of certain music, even when at home on your own time. In 2017, you can lose custody of your own children just because of the music you listen to. I don't want to lose my parents.
What up, bitch? I'm Violent J, one half of the Insane Clown Posse, the Duke of the Wicked.
I'm Shaggy 2 Dope, the Southwest Strangler, the other half of Insane Clown Posse.
As soon as we started planning out the Juggalo March on Washington, D.C., we were quickly reminded about the discrimination against juggalos in our country.
The injustice we're facing, just to protest the injustice we're facing, is pure fucking madness. It was only up to 2011 when they put out the gang assessment list. But all that don't matter, because ever since then still, it's been fucking up our business, fucking up juggalos' lives, and fucking up anybody who wants to represent any kind of juggalo culture in public.
We hear hundreds of fucked up foul-ass stories. Ninjas losing their jobs, being denied entry into the military, even losing custody of their kids in court battles because they are officially and legally labeled gang members. Fucked up shit.
They're making it straight up illegal to listen to our music, to represent anything hatchet related, to represent juggaloism.
About a year ago, as soon as we announced we're going to be throwing a 2-day free concert in D.C. and having juggalos gather at the National Mall in D.C. and throwing a march, we immediately began getting roadblocked. You know what else fucking sucks? Trying to find a venue willing to host the Juggalo March 2-day free concert.
Almost every single person that we've got a hold of has been reluctant to participate.
Our fucking epic search has taken us all over the northeastern states of this country. Our highly skilled, immensely educated, superior thinking, and psychological warfare weapons expert master attorney, the Juggalo lawyer, Ferris, will explain the bone in detail.
What's up, ninjas? It's Ferris, the Juggalo lawyer. I'm here to explain all the drama that's been going on behind the scenes in putting on the Juggalo March and these concerts. First, there was the Jiffy Lube Amphitheater in Virginia. After jumping through countless hoops, working out all the security detail requests, everything that they asked us for, nothing mattered. In the end, as we've seen before, the venue gave in to pressure from the local sheriff's department. They emailed us a simple 2-word message: no juggalos. Next up, we tried booking a large privately owned plot of land in Charles County, Maryland, similar to what we do for the gathering. The owner was cool as fuck and 100% down. All we had to do was work with the county to secure a permit, which we've done many times before. But just like a bunch of bitches, they kept stringing us and stringing us and stringing us along. But eventually, the mayor of Charles County sent a letter to the Department of Planning and Growth Management. He advised them not to issue us a permit. The super cool owner of the property, Mike Long, sent Billy Bill a text, and it said, "This is bullshit. I've never had this much of a problem with the county people in my life." After the permit was denied, Chad Shepard of NAPRO Entertainment, who was booking the show, had this to say: "I have been booking shows for nearly 2 decades, and never have I encountered the problems I did with trying to find a date for ICP for the March concert. No group or fans should receive this type of treatment." Next, we tried booking a skate park in DC, then they said the security requirements were just going to be too much for them. Another associate of ours tried booking several other venues, and he had this to say: "I spent months and months speaking to various promoters and venues directly. Promoters passed, citing not wanting that element in the room. When I'd ask what element, the answer was that shit the FBI is talking about. Several venues also rejected us, stating that they couldn't rent to us because their local police department was concerned about the FBI element." I say bullshit. This unfounded view of juggalos is our motivation for the march. We're people from all walks of life. We have jobs, we have families, and we have to stand up for ourselves because no one else will.
And you gotta understand, it's become harder and harder and harder to do what we love. They're trying to end juggalos once and for all. No more gatherings, no more concerts, no more music. Fuck that, juggalos, we love you, man. We need you to come together and fight this. Ninjas are being punished for waving our hatchet flag in public, rocking a tattoo. That's fascism, and it's fucked up.
We gotta let the world know we ain't having that shit. This whole FBI gang list bullshit, the whole mistreatment of Juggalo bullshit. How would you do it? We're doing it the only way we know how to do it, and that's to march on Washington and all up the government's bitch ass.
You hate the Insane Clown Posse? What if your band is next? What if all of a sudden you're on the gang database and you're labeled an official gang member because you listen to that music you love? We need your help.
That's right, you motherfucker sitting here watching this right now, we need you. Now is the time for you to stand up for the other man, for the other Juggalo.
The Juggalo March is jumping off like Jimmy Snuka. Juggalos, we need you there. We need you in Washington, D.C. Where there's a will, there's a way. You can get there. September 16th, National Mall, Washington, D.C. High noon.
Make a protest sign, express yourself, express your views. Come ready to stand up for your rights.
Show your support, show your Juggalo pride, show up, wave that flag as high as you can, and shout that shit as loud as you can.
We're gonna gather at the meeting.
History.
I didn't think America.
Is this how you want to live? Fuck no, motherfuck no. Is this what America is all about? Fuck no, motherfuck no. Are we just gonna let this bullshit happen? Not do a motherfucking thing about it? Someone tell me what the fuck we gonna do? Stop our feet, clap our hands, and march with the Juggalo fam, bitch. Stop our feet, clap our hands, and march with the Juggalo fam.
Bitch, 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 bitch.
Oh yeah, we back again right here on the Juggalo Show, the Juggalo March edition. Man, first off, man, there's a lot to talk about. One is, of course, that infomercial, man. It broke it down, man.
Damn, that was incredible.
So let's talk about the concert.
Okay, so one of the reasons why we had to delay the show twice was because we were trying to find, like, we kept thinking we had a venue. The venue was good, and we just wanted to get it 100% firmed up so that when we did this show, we could be like, we got the venue. Yo, we're all good. This is the day, boom. And then it would fall through. So then we delayed it, and we tried it again, and it fell through. And basically, which leaves us right now where we're at. Now, the National Mall, according to the permit, we talked to the main guy about this. It's 100% confirmed we can have concerts at the National Mall.
All right.
And they've done it before. They've done concerts there before, and they've done other marches, other protests, where they actually have performances intermittent between the speakers, which is what we're planning on now. That's like what we got in motion right now.
Nice.
And it's not 100%, so don't get it confused. It's not 100% yet. It's just what we're working on right now. We have to submit the total plan to the guy. He said 100%. You're good to go to have concerts there, and St. Clown Posse can perform there. You guys can go into the night, all that.
I was about to ask, like the permit, and you probably know more better, J Webb. The permit, how long does it give you for the actual event from start to finish?
Actually, what's interesting is that we can basically go as long as we want to. There is no time restrictions. Where the only thing you have to do is you have to pay off-duty police officers
For security.
For security.
Gotcha.
And that's done by
standard.
Right, that is standard too. Yes, it sure is.
The hour. Yep.
It sure is.
But no, there technically is no restriction. We could go until 3 in the morning.
Now, if this happens to me personally, I'm super excited about it. The whole idea of Insane Clown Posse performing at the National Mall.
Are you kidding me?
Like,
That's a bomb.
It's just legendary, like literally legendary. You know.
In front of the Lincoln Memorial, ladies and gentlemen.
In front of the Lincoln Memorial where Forrest met up with Jenny, man.
What a great what a great moment in life.
Yes.
And when you look at the entirety of your life, what a fucking great moment to be there,
man.
To see that go down. Not only just the great cause, the great, to fight back against our oppressors, to march on Washington, but then to celebrate that by, seeing all these concerts perform, ending with Insane Clown Posse in the National Mall is just legendary. Okay.
I can't even.
That's option A at this point.
Well, let's go with there is no option B. There is no plan B.
Option B, and we, believe me, we talked the guy to death over the last week. Talking to the guy, asking him 50 million questions. Just make sure we're good to do this, right?
He's looking at caller ID like
we're
here
fucking.
They go again.
And the guy's mad cool. Like the
Great
main
shit.
guy that's making all the calls, he's actually really cool. He's done and seen it all.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He's like, man, we've had everybody fucking here. You know what I mean? Protesting this and that. He's like, he's seen it all.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, and he's not faded. He really isn't. This is someone that's got a lot of experience. You know? So that's option A. Option B is there's still a venue. There's one venue, one left. The door is still open.
And it's only 7 hours away.
No, it's right in
It's
Washington.
in
It's right in Washington, D.C. There's one venue left. The door is still halfway open.
Okay.
And they basically told us, well, this is what we need to make this happen. We agreed to it. And we're just waiting to hear back. You know what I'm saying? So that's the other option, which would be cool, too, because then we can keep the two things separate.
I mean, yeah, it would be cool, but it'd be so damn cool to see ICP perform at the National Mall. I'm losing my fucking mind.
That's like the cover of Time magazine.
Right, exactly.
Right, yeah,
And,
regular TV shows.
You will, and I can guarantee.
Am I a super dick that I hope that this other venue says can't do it? Sorry.
Yeah, the one thing is, if that happens, that will truly be a once in a lifetime event.
You will
never see that again.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So anyway, those are the two options right now. We're just trying to see. We're basically working at both of those options, 100% day and night to make that happen. So within the next week, all should be answered, and the program will be released. It'll have the itinerary, the whole schedule of events. It'll answer all your questions from parking, what's allowed, what's not allowed. All the stuff will be answered, and we kept it really simple as we possibly could.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And so, like, we're gonna release that program, and that'll basically answer everything right there. You know, you just look through that, you'll know all the answers at that point. And then there's going to be after parties too on Saturday night. No matter how it goes down, there will be an after party taking place, and there will be events. We'll have a list of events, just shit to do in DC that you can get involved with. You know, at night. You know, if you couldn't make it to the after party.
Start calling some venues.
Right. Yeah.
Rude Boys.
Because
OG Juggalo Jam is coming to.
There's small
bicentennial Juggalo party.
The smaller venues are down. We were able to locate a couple of those that are down, and so we got those locked in for some after party events.
Nice.
And so we'll list we'll list everything there in the program, options for you to do at night, like after the whole march is over, if you want to hang out. But it's looking like at this point it's going to be a 1-day event. Saturday.
Yes.
Just kicking off, because that's the only options we got. The National Mall, it's Saturday for the concerts, because that's the day we have locked in. The whole day we have that space in front of the Lincoln Memorial. We have that for the whole day and night to do it as we will for the speeches and the concerts. And then, or it's either that venue, which they only have available for Saturday night. You know what I mean?
It's going to be a party either way. Mexican Independence Day.
And everything else.
It's going down.
And everything else, we were shut the fuck down. It's super discrimination on an epic level that nobody will even take our money.
Rob, stop. Because you've taken me from here to here, and now you're starting to take me down. I don't want to go down no more. I can't take it. I can't take. My mind won't take it.
Anyway, I'm excited about it. You know what I mean? And it's kind of like it just, you know, we're working with an impossible situation, you know, and we're making it into something that's fresh. That's how I look at it. Like we're working with what we got, and it's all coming together. And it's almost like the Dark Carnival is like finding a way. You know what I mean? It's like we have powers that be that are shaping it too. You know, to make this whole thing happen. You know what I'm saying? And it will happen. It's going to be an epic fucking journey to Washington, D.C., to be a part of this, to be a part of history, just like the commercial was saying, to be a part of history.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? On this day, representing our Juggalo family in the best way that we can, in the honorable way. You know what I'm saying? The Juggalo way, if you will. This is going to be a moment that you will remember forever. It will be a page in the book of your life. Do not miss out. Do not miss out on this, and do not miss out on an opportunity to be there for your Juggalos in such a powerful way. You know what I mean? To make a change from the oppression and the bullshit that we've been suffering.
Hey, put that camera on me real quick. My shirt's gonna say, "Were you at the march?"
That's right.
I was.
That's right.
Watch.
Yes.
Hey, Jump Steady. You know what? You said it best. I think we can end on that note tonight. J Webb, any final words you'd like to say before we got to get out of here?
Just that if you're a Juggalo and if you value the freedoms that this country is supposedly founded upon, you will, as Violent J said in the infomercial, you will find a way to be there. That's how important this is.
Absolutely.
Where there's a will, there's a way, and you simply just have to find a way, because this issue is bigger than all of us, and it's time that we stand up for something that's bigger than just us as individuals. This is, I think, the defining moment in the Juggalo subculture.
Amen.
And the Juggalo family. This is our Waterloo right here.
KG Kevin Gill.
Man, there's nothing I can say that's going to top what has been said before me and after me, but I'm so honored and humbled to be a part of something that's so important and so revolutionary and so groundbreaking. And I just want to thank everyone at Psychopathic Records and every Juggalo that's willing to stand up like so many brave people throughout history, people who you now learn about in school or people who have their face put on stamps and other things. There's going to be juggalos taught about in school if we go there and represent with the family like we know we can. And that's no lie. That's no joke. We know Vice is going to be there. Every media under the sun is going to be there. And the whole world is going to know our story. And the whole world knowing our story is going to put incredible pressure on the FBI and others to fix the wrongs that they've done. Just like Rudy's nemesis, Joel Osteen or whatever, the fake-ass bitch who wouldn't open his church for people. Once the whole world got up his ass, he had to do the right thing because he was shamed into it. We can, with our power, just us, all of us as a family, we can change this, period. But you have to, at some point, stop talking shit on the internet and step into the real world and join us. We are one.
Amen. Amen to that.
Dope.
Well, listen, like I say every time, man.
Hold up. I got one more thing to say. You never, this is a Rod Serling quote from the Twilight Zone. You never make the great at anything by playing it safe. Don't fucking sit at home. Don't be a punk. Don't be a bitch. If you believe in this cause, rise up. Come out and join us at the Juggalo March. September 16th. This is the greatest moment in Juggalo history, and it will be the greatest moment, one of the greatest moments of your life if you're there attending. You know what I'm saying? And don't be afraid, man. This is it. This is our time to shine. And just like they said in the commercial, to address the nation. You know what I'm saying? Never has our voice will be more loud than it is at this moment to say what we got to say so that everybody hears. You know what I mean?
Amen to that. Well, with that being said, hey, you know, I'm honored that I'm going to be speaking, you know, in our nation's capital. And I can tell you this, Rude Boy has a lot to say. And you should be there to hear because you're going to listen. And it's going down. You should be there not only to stand up for Juggalo humanity, but for humanity itself. Again, they can come after you no matter who you are. Again, man, I'm so on a high right now, I don't want to come down. So with that being said, like I always say, man, we're not here for a long time. We are here for a good fucking time. Take care of one another. Be good to one another. We'll see you next week for the Juggalo Show right here. Whoop, whoop.
Whoop, whoop.
Whoop, whoop.